Hey D&D fam, I'm Quick.
And I'm Lee, and you're listening to
Divas and Ducats. So what is a diva? I think divas get a bad rep, but to me, diva is all about the attitude.
As for ducats, it's your finances, your assets, Skrilla, guap, your coin. We're talking all things with the potential to affect your pockets.
And while we're attorneys by trade, we are divas by choice. Divas and Ducats is for edutainment purposes.
Y'all, we are not Series 511 or 703 professionals. This does not create a financial advisor or attorney-client relationship. The views expressed here are solely our opinions and the opinions of our guests.
It's just our opinion, y'all. Okay, divas, let's talk ducats.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, divas. Thank you for tuning back in with us.
Yes, welcome back.
Yes. And briefly, if you are here on YouTube, we're asking you to hit the subscribe button, follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and go ahead and like, comment, and share. So what are we going to be talking about today?
So we are on part 3 of our 3-part series. So if you're just tuning in, go back after this. A lot of good little nuggets. But we're talking about dating potential, right? So Quick and I, single and single-ish, have had many discussions about dating potential, what potential is. We agree and disagree on various topics within the subject, but we thought it would not be fair to just sit here and complain about what's wrong with people in the dating industry. What we wanted to talk about is have a well-rounded view of dating and what that looked like. So previously we had a married man as a guest. We had 2 dynamic married women, had a good time. And so now we wanted to circle up with single men, right? To have a well-rounded discussion, like we said. So,
yes. And for me, of course, this is the best episode because my man is on.
All right.
So, hey, this is going to be interesting. So let's get into it. Lamont, introduce yourself. What do you do? Introduce yourself, Lamont.
Oh, my bad.
What do you do? Introduce
Lamont
yourself.
Simmons. Yes. I do heating and air, plumbing, electrical. My fiance is Melinda. Wave your hands in the air, side to side. Show that ring, girl.
Oh my God.
Another payment on it.
Oh, yes.
That's about it.
Okay. And over to you, Devin.
Hey, I'm Devin from Next Level Fitness PT. I have a personal training company and here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
And for those of you who are not familiar with our podcast, if you're on YouTube, last year we had Devin on to talk about physical health. So we definitely encourage you to go back and listen to that episode because it was dynamic.
Indeed.
Yes. So let's get into these questions.
Right? Okay. Yes. All right. So we asked all of our guests this, and we've gotten a multitude of answers. So Quick and I basically agree that what potential is not is what the internet, I like the term hobosexual. That is not potential. That's someone who needs somewhere to stay. So potential to us is, okay, you're not quite where you want to be, but you can see some action behind it. You can see a person working towards those goals, right? So each of you, whoever wants to go first, how did you define potential when you were dating or as you started to become more serious about dating?
I think potential for me, far as some of the signs or attributes were like a hard worker, somebody who has a strong mindset, is not easily swayed or persuaded, and stands on their square, like, they stand up for what they believe in. But like you said, there always can be room for growth. And also too, you look for people who, I guess when you start to know and talk to a person that also is a big supporter of your dreams. Having a cheerleader or somebody that believes in you can be major in your success.
Lamont?
Yeah, just sharing the goal of always wanting to get better, um, beyond Netflix and chill. Having some real substance. Um, and I think as long as you desire to get better, that's a strong foundation to build on because you always got things to work on. Not changing nobody like to try to make them something, but as long as you got the common goal to get better, and you push each other, and everything else kind of flows from there.
Got you. Okay, cool.
And so, like in dating potential, we kind of get into like the things y'all named were more like core values. So did y'all in your dating potential have any like physical requirements, monetary requirements, or was it really strictly core values?
For me at the time, it wasn't financial because I was like 22.
Okay.
So it wasn't so much of financial. It was more of it was more of, at the time, like somebody's height, which is not really honestly right now a big deal. But it was like somebody's height.
Did you want them taller or shorter?
Oh gosh, I'm not.
You said
I
height.
wanted I wanted somebody that was around my height because I think the reason why I said I wanted somebody around my height is because I wanted children at the time, and I didn't want them to be short. So that's why I wanted somebody around my height.
Okay.
That's
real.
Okay.
All right.
But it was also somebody that I was looking for that I could look at every day and say that this person is beautiful every single day.
Yeah, that's important.
Because sometimes those things fade. Sometimes, things might look good in the beginning and it doesn't last. It might be like, oh, this look good now. But somebody that you really see that is beautiful on the outside and inside as well.
Got you.
Lamont?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much about the same. It's just looking more towards long term. As far as just being attracted to the things that matter to you and where you are in life. So certain things look different for me, younger versus older. So, I mean, there's definitely got to have some physical attraction, but it's that mental attraction that's the biggest, because that's what's going to really be like, keeps the flame really going if y'all got that kind of connection.
Got you. And so, and it's something that we've asked, I think, pretty much all of our guests about. We always talk about what we're looking for, but I think it's really important to do like a self-assessment and be self-aware. So when you were dating, because, both of you are now engaged, when you were dating, like what qualities did you feel that you had to offer in terms of, your potential mate?
I think for me, I felt like I could offer a lot pertaining to being very versatile in what I do and how I live my life. I can be domestic and having no issue with cooking or cleaning, and then I could also be on the other end with being a real big door outdoorsy person and working on things that need to be fixed. I can do both. And I grew up learning that from my father. So, if something go with an issue with a car or oil need to be changed, or even if it's something big, I know how to do those things. So I can do both far as outside and inside. And I felt like that was something that I could do that a lot of people, even at my age then and now, can't do.
Gotcha.
So that was really one of the biggest things.
Okay. Lamont?
Well, I should ask this question to Melinda. How many home improvements have I already done? But I already talked about corn.
Got a honey-do list. All right.
Yeah. So,
I love a handyman.
Okay. Y'all cutting up.
but yeah,
Yeah, make sure you put them overalls on, bro. Make sure you put them overalls on.
I might not show up when she want me to, but I'm always on time.
I hear that.
Just like
But yeah, just being able to like fix things and just stability. Just having a skill. Like I said, just that we both in our own careers, and I'm not trying to find myself, quote unquote. So just those type of things that are important. And not saying that though they don't change, but you get to a certain point, you kind of want somebody that already found themselves by now. So
got you.
And it's understandable if you're willing to deal with that with someone. I get it, but at some point you're like, I'm kind of past that phase because I don't know where this is going, and I don't know if you're gonna be dedicated or. And you being found yourself, you're usually dealing with, sometimes an unhappy person, and you can't make nobody happy. That's an inside job.
It's so true.
I got you. And so what I heard, I just want to circle back because that brings up an interesting point is, Devin was speaking to being able to do things that might be seen as traditionally masculine or feminine, like domestic or outside, that I guess man's man. And so I think a lot of times people will talk about what their grandparents did, or even today's women and men, we fall into that trap of like, my daddy did this, my mama did that. And I think, it's really important, Quick and I have had conversations and getting down to, that's great that daddy did that as a daddy, but how was daddy as a husband? How was daddy as a partner? And being able to see that holistic picture of, he might have been great at these things, but do you really want somebody that was like daddy? Because daddy as a partner was,
right.
You know what I mean? Was it problematic? So, just speaking to that, do you, within your relationships, do you have traditional gender role expectations? Or if not, like in what ways? And I think, Devin kind of answered for his perspective, but in what ways are you maybe non-traditional?
I think we do have some traditional gender roles. I think in the beginning for her, it was a little tough far as moving into a traditional gender role, far as just say for an example, like carrying groceries or opening the door for her. So she wanted to grab all the groceries, and I'm like, nah, just hand me some groceries. You take one or two. I got the rest. And it took her a while to do that. She's like, I can carry it on my own. I'm like, chill. It ain't. Just let me do what I do. Just let me do what I do. Just fall back a little bit. But then over time, I think a lot of that is because some people are not conditioned or used to that type of treatment.
Right.
Yeah.
When you're not used to that, it's like, I can do this on my own. But then you have to get acclimated to, excuse me, being in those positions.
Yeah.
And I think far as being non-traditional, I have a wedding band and I'm not married yet. So I feel like, I'm like, I wear it because I want to wear it. I ain't going nowhere.
Okay.
So,
Gotta put a ring on it.
Ain't no shame in my game. It is what it is. So,
Lamont, you going anywhere?
Okay.
Oh my God, you.
Ow.
Woo!
Okay,
But,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Traditional, not traditional roles.
I've heard a lot of my daddy.
Ooh.
Ain't
Oh,
forever here.
Look, she signed a waiver. Go ahead and speak the truth. We're not breaking up no happy
Sure
homes.
did. My
Answer
daddy.
the question.
My daddy. The great Caesar, but no, I think it's just I didn't grow up I grew up in a single mom home, so I guess for me, like, I got my ideas from television and other stuff, and then I tried to do some things in my early adult life that because I thought that was the right way. I'm not saying some of it was good, some of it didn't work, but I just think you just got to do what works for you, and when there are certain things that I was probably big on, and now it's like, it's not the same as it was back then. So you just kind of, because what kind of lifestyle you have, and you kind of go by what works for y'all. If I worked less or wasn't home more, I probably would cook more. So it just depends on who has more access to certain things. I mean, with us, we kind of have like kind of traditional jobs or careers.
Mm-hmm.
So some things are, yeah, this is broke. You know, that I work in a field where I fix stuff. So it's not a
Right.
traditional thing as much as this is what I do, but that's what I
Right.
enjoy doing. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not like I did it because, oh, I think this is a manly job. No, that's just what I enjoy doing.
Got you. Okay. So, as a follow up on that, just speaking into like the traditions and what people kind of expect, I know one of the common statistics they're saying that, Black women, I think, are the biggest population of college graduates, or we're graduating at a quicker rate. And so that can often lead to women out earning their partner. And so, have either of you been in or currently in relationships where the woman is the higher earner? And if so, did that change things for you? Did that bother you, maybe as a man, or make you feel some type of way? Like, just how did you kind of handle that if that was the situation?
I think there has been a certain period of time where she did earn more than I did, but it wasn't really. I really didn't think about it.
Okay.
I was so focused on my goals that I had in life, is that I know I'm gonna be where I need to be at. So that really wasn't a issue for me, because I'm focused on me. Like whether this relationship continues or it ends, I still have a goal in mind, and I'm going to get to where I need to get to. So I wasn't really so much focused on that.
Okay.
Lamont.
I think it was more about just making sure that I can, as long as I can afford a lifestyle that I can maintain. I don't really focus on what someone else makes, as long as they can also afford what they enjoy doing as well. So it wasn't like, oh, I need this, I need her to help me get this,
Yeah.
Oh, I need her, so it wasn't, the first go around, yeah, I wasn't doing too good on the first go around, but this one's a little bit different. But so it's we don't, it's nothing, I don't really think about it like that. It's like, as long as I can, she can, enjoy certain things. I was going to actually put a bag on the table.
Really?
It's not, but my point with that was, I encouraged her to go get that bag, girl. You earned it. And I had a few dollars on it, but she turned it down.
Don't do this.
You put 5 on it.
Do this. That's fine.
Let me tell my truth.
This is
your
his truth.
version.
This is
Okay.
You signed a waiver.
All right.
Okay.
She said, "No, boo, I got it.
Huh.
I'm doing good." I said,
Okay.
what? That bag can let you do your thing,
Wow.
but I'm here to support you. So that's it.
Okay, I hear that. Did you feel, and as a follow up to that, so it didn't really bother either one of you, but did you feel from your partner that you got the same respect in a situation where she was out earning you? Did you feel like that became like a did you feel like you got the same respect, or did you feel emasculated in any kind of way, or it just wasn't, it was a non-issue?
I think we really never talked about it. I think we didn't really ever talk about how much an individual made.
Okay.
And honestly, we don't talk about it today. What you make or what I make has never really been a conversation. Like, nobody has ever asked, oh, how much you make a year, or how much you get paid an hour. Like, we've never really had those conversations.
Okay.
Maybe if it's a situation where we're trying to move forward and buy a property, investment property, or do investments, we might, come together and be like, okay, what's your credit score? What's mine? How much do we need to bring to the table? But honestly, we've never, ever had that conversation. I think there might have just been situations where, like, oh, I'm getting paid this amount of hour, it ain't enough, but like, we don't really never count each other money like that.
Okay.
And I've always felt like, too, just as a side note, that a lot of men that I've seen who might not have had a lot of money in the beginning and struggled in the beginning of their relationship, when they come up, they wind up leaving that person that was with them when they was down.
Well.
And I've never really yeah, I've never really subscribed or really thought that was cool. Like to
Mm-hmm.
for somebody to grind it out with you on the years that you was broke
Mm-hmm.
and you know
Yeah.
stage left on you when you got money now. So
Right. Kanye. I'm sorry.
It
I
was
was thinking about that song.
his song.
Yeah.
This week, next week is a
Right.
surprise. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
you know,
So, and I just want to kind of round this up. So, I think as women, oftentimes in our conversations, I've heard like we think that income matters to a man.
Yeah.
And we think about, I think we really put our resume on the table. We feel like, oh, I'm this, I'm that. I went to school here, I make this. And so we think almost sometimes like a badge of honor or like as a part of a, I guess, good credential, I guess, for lack of better words.
We almost treat it like a character.
Right. Like, this is me. And so we think it matters, but just in your opinion, just a male perspective, does that matter do you feel like that matters in terms of just income in general?
income does matter. I think in today's age because it's so many opportunities and things you can do together if you both have income to create more wealth.
Right.
The times have changed from 60 or 70 years ago when you could have a household with multiple kids off of one income.
Right.
Right.
I think today's age, it does matter if you do have multiple income. I think as far as the importance, it depends on your situation. If you're making hundreds of thousands, or it doesn't even have to be hundreds of thousands. If you can sustain a household and everything is good, and one person is working, it's fine. And sometimes it's financially smart for one person to stay home and not spend money on childcare,
Right.
or situations like that. So it does depend on your situation. But I think nowadays, just because of student debt, with people going to school, if you go to school, you're gonna have student debt.
Probably.
That you do need. It is very helpful to have two incomes come into the household.
Okay. Lamont.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think money is a big issue. I know we discussed that a lot, credit scores, all those things. But like I said, when it comes to money, I think it's you have to have an individual level where you're comfortable with or what you bring to the table. So again, it's the inside,
Yeah.
thing. So when I wasn't making as much, it had nothing to do with what someone else is making. I'm looking at like, man, I gotta, I can't. If I go to the beach, I gotta stay, 20 miles from the beach. If I go here, I mean, that lifestyle sucks, and especially when you with someone that they don't have to do that. So it's easy to downplay things because it makes you feel comfortable because you not in the position to do it. And I can speak that because I've done that. Now, if I'm doing something, I'm on the beach, 4 or 5-star hotel. I'm gonna do it right because I can afford to do it now. But I like
Sauce,
that,
baby.
Look, come through stars.
Yeah, so I don't do the bootleg stuff no more because I don't have to. But it took a minute for me not to to get out of that situation. But again, when you are with someone who doesn't have to live that way, yes, money is going to be an issue because I'm like, we can get 2 for 2 if we go over here, and they're looking at you like you're crazy. And I'm not saying that a deal, you still gonna do deals, but when you really can only do this, everything is on a low budget of everything.
Right.
It sucks because I don't even want to be with nobody doing that. I'm like, huh, what? I'm not, but you don't see it when you in that situation.
Right. I got you.
You being like the strong to now.
Right. So Groupon is still popping sometimes.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. It's cool to do that when you're young.
Yeah.
But it's a certain point in time in your life where you got to step your game up.
Absolutely.
Like you can't be in your 30s still struggling like that and still eating off the dollar menu and trying to figure out like you can't, bro. We not doing that. We're not doing that. It's too many, and that's the thing. That's in today's age, like early 2000s. If you needed a job or you needed money, you either had to get a job or you sold weed. You did one or the two. Nowadays, You can do Uber. If you got a car, you can make money. You can even make money even just selling products on the internet. So like today's age, you really have no excuse of not being able to make more money.
Right.
Yeah, I got you. So do you want to get into Sweetie or Keith?
Let's get into Sweetie first.
So, Sweetie, and this happened a while back, and she's cleared up the statement. So let me, say that first. But Sweetie's a rapper, and she dates Quavo from Migos. And
I don't know any of these.
Well, okay, she's a rapper. She dates a rapper. Thank you.
Got it.
So she came out when she was promoting a song, and she basically said, if he's not buying you a Birkin, he's not paying the bills, throw that N-word to the streets. Like, basically, why is he here, sis? So, we just kind of wanted to see what men thought about that. I mean, y'all might be paying bills. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. But, what are your thoughts on, I guess, maybe women who feel like that? Like, look, you were here to pay some bills, or what you doing? You here to buy these bags, these shoes? What's up?
I ain't here to do nothing but what I'm supposed to do.
Okay, what you supposed to do?
It ain't paying your bills. It ain't buying you no bag.
All right.
Because for me, it all depends on your mindset too. That's a young mindset for me. And it cannot even be a young mindset. It can be an immature mindset of not really understanding what you need to do to be successful. And I saw a video one time of and they looked like they were in their mid to late 30s. It was a female who purchased a investment property for her boyfriend or fiance. And he was like, I thought you was gonna buy me a chain.
Oh God.
It's your mindset. It's your mindset. And I'm like, is this dude for real? Like, she literally bought this man an investment property for his birthday.
Can she transfer that deed? You can tell what she could do with
when you're not on the same level, when you're not on and the thing about it is, like, if Quavo, if that's how if he cool with that, he cool with that.
Right.
That's just not for me. That's just not for me. If that's the type of dudes that she prefer to be with, and dudes will provide that for her, then so be it. But it's not, if you talking about 90% of these males out here, they don't have no money for no Birkin bag.
True.
And you ain't doing enough tricks for me to buy one no way.
I mean, they are like, they $40,000. That's some $40,000 tricks. I mean,
man, you tricking for a long time for that. You tricking for a long time.
Okay.
Just focus on this investment property.
I'm listening, because she transferred that. I can show her what to do with that. You can get your few change. You do it and you act right. So, Lamont, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm when it comes to hip hop, I'm like, me and Melinda, we probably on the same page with the current stuff. I don't even follow that anymore. So, and I get it, it's for the younger people. But I just think people going to talk what's familiar with their tax bracket. I mean, obviously they talking about it. A Birkin bag is nothing considering the money that they make. So, a lot of times, when people are talking, they talking from the lifestyle they have.
Yeah.
So obviously, if I had millions of bucks, no, a Birkin bag ain't nothing to me. But if you break that down to somebody most people who don't have that, it's like buying when I bought Melinda a Nautica bag.
Wait, what'd you buy?
Say what? Bought a what? You said Nautica coat.
Bag.
Are you saying Nautica?
You did wrong for that, bro.
What did you
said Nautica, bro. You did wrong for that.
You
did wrong for that.
Cut this
No, this is realness. You bought that Nautica bag. Did you wear that Nautica
bro, I know
bag?
you did wrong for that.
I never saw that Nautica bag. Where's the bag, Melinda?
And I know you wrong for that, because they done moved location. They done moved to a smaller store. They ain't even in the big store no more.
They had the outlet.
This was my dating
They
potential.
They the downside, bro. You gonna get a Nautica bag.
Hey, this is where you was potential, boo. It's cool. But where's the bag?
Yeah, you could have went right across the hall to Coach, bro. You could have went right across the hall. You could have went to K-Spade for that. You could have went to K-Spade.
Hey, K-Spade is
they got
nice.
discounts and sales.
K-Spade is a classic.
And I
It
got
was
it. I got it
horrible.
shirt to match too.
You did what? You
got
got a
me them-
TJ
I
Maxx.
got a shirt
He
to
got me a
match.
matching sweater.
Oh man,
Yeah.
with the boat. There's a boat
Yeah,
on
to
it.
go with the bag. And she gave it away.
I'm
But
sure.
that's
Good.
Hey, I would have had to give it away too, bro.
And for his memory, he's just like, but you were so happy. I was not.
You faked it?
I did for a long time. I did fake
Oh
it.
man.
You
So
got to donate. You got to donate that to charity or somebody.
okay, but to be
Horrible.
clear, Sweetie did say when the backlash happened, she did clear up that I guess maybe gifts is her love language, and so she was
As it is
saying
mine.
that women should be spoiled and cherished. And so I think, when she clarified it, she did say, like, whatever a man could do. Because, listen, we're in a pandemic. People out here can't pay their rent, much less buy a Birkin. So she cleaned it up, but I think it really opened up a lot of conversation about roles and what people really expect in relationships. And even if those expectations are realistic. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. So we did some
Yeah.
jumping ahead. We never asked you guys how y'all met y'all ladies
Oh, we
and how
didn't.
long y'all have been dating them.
We just kind of jumped right
Yeah,
in
we
it.
did.
Sorry.
Lamont, start with you so I know your story.
Go ahead, player. Go ahead,
Go
player.
ahead.
Go ahead, player.
With your Nautica bag.
Let's
Sorry. That is
I
Oh.
was I was at the Players Ball in '92. That was stop. We met up at what was it? Smoothie King.
We did.
Oh, look
Yeah,
at
we
y'all
met
being
at-
healthy. Okay.
We met
Yeah.
on Tinder, swipe right.
Yeah, and we had a couple of conversations prior to meeting. And what else? What else I'm leaving out?
How long did we date before you proposed?
Oh, girl.
Did we count the break too?
No, let's tell your version. This is your story. How do you want to tell it?
I'm trying. I want to
Hey,
get it
girl,
right
you got him
because I
on the
don't.
stand. You set up and got him on the stand. Like she signed a waiver. I'm just saying.
We did it for a year. Took a break. Came back. About a year. Then proposed. I think that's about right.
All right. Devin.
David.
MySpace. This is back in,
Oh,
back
wow.
in
You
the
took it
day.
way
Our
back.
last guest met in
MySpace.
MySpace too.
Black Planet
Hey,
Day.
this is MySpace.
Remember
This
when
is
you had like the
way
top
back.
8?
It's like 07, 08.
wow.
I think it was 08. This when MySpace was bigger than Facebook.
Yeah.
And it was just a situation where she actually went to the high school I went to, but I never knew her. She only went there for 2 years and then she left. So you know how she was scrolling through one of her best friend's pages because her best friend went to the same high school. We have a lot of people who went to high school with together. And she was like, "Who was that?" He was like, "Oh, that's so and so ex-boyfriend." She was like, "Oh, okay. How she?" She was like, "Oh, this the dude she was talking about." So it was a lot of our paths had intercrossed in our lives before because in high school she used to work in Burger King at Concord Mills, and I remember going to the mall seeing her like, "Oh, she bad," but I never like I approaching females was never my thing.
Okay.
So when she hit me up, she was like, "Oh, I like your pictures," because I was trying to do a whole little modeling thing, whatever. And she was like, "Oh, I like you. I like your pictures." I was like, "Oh, I know you from the Mills." She was like, "Concord Mills?" She was like, "Yeah." So our paths had intercrossed before. We just didn't know it and just kind of circled back around. And I think this is year maybe 13. We did have a little break maybe 2 years ago, and it was just it was due to me.
Okay.
It was due to some growth and growing that I needed to do, far as being more emotionally available, since I hear that a lot from clients that I'm not emotionally available. So
And you've
and
done the
it
work.
just took it just took time. A lot of it honestly is reflection, and that's for me. It's I just had to reflect on certain situations and scenarios of if she wanted to talk about something, I'm into my phone and I'm not really paying attention.
Yeah.
And I just thought about Like, why you just couldn't put the phone down and listen to what she
That
had to
can make
say,
you
and then
put your
pick up the
phone
phone afterwards.
Be present. Yeah.
So a lot, yeah, it's a lot of it is just um, reflecting on throughout the years and trying to figure out how to be better.
Okay. Well, sometimes it's a woman. You was like it's always. Sometimes we trifling. We got to be self aware. I'm just saying. It's some trifling women out there. I'm just putting it out there. So, so one of the things that, and it's another thing that Quick and I agree, and I just want to dispel the idea because I feel like we've said a couple times in this series, like we just do not see eye to eye at all
No,
on this
you
topic.
have said
Well,
that.
I just wanted to clarify because I feel like people just like, dang, like what they think. I feel like Quick and I mostly disagree on things that I would consider stylistic, like more so preferences. And I think the way that it was communicated. So I think in the past, like I would say something like, well, if you got this, this, and this, and this, and this on your list, like, is that realistic? Does it exist? And I think Quick would hear shortage. And I'm never here to say there's a shortage of potential or things like that. You like what you like. I just think that sometimes when you get uber specific and you're not open, you can miss something. Or something like height at a certain point mattered to Quick. It never mattered to me. So things like that are more stylistic. It's more preference. Or like Quick would be quicker to, just being honest, Quick would be quicker to date someone with children than I would. So it's really not a big thing. It's just more so general preferences and where you are in life, right? So, but one of the things that we do agree on is kind of like somewhat what we think of and what we mean when we say like provide and what it means to be a provider. I think we both agree that can be financial and non-financial. But we ask all of our guests, like, how would you define provider?
I think to provide financially for men is very easy because as women, you all know, when a guy approach you, he's telling you what he can do for you.
Okay.
Materialistically, oh, I can give you this, I can do that, I can take you here. But they never say what they can provide emotionally for you. They never say, I'm gonna teach you how to do this to become a better person, or I'm gonna give you this information so you can, be where you want to be at financially or in your industry. So for me, providing it can be on all aspects. It can be providing emotional support, being a supporter when somebody has had a bad day, come home and just, even though you might be tired and you ain't trying to hear it, you just had that ear open anyway, and just listen, because sometimes they just need to air it out. Sometimes they just need to speak it out.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of times in those situations, it can be more, I don't want to say more important than financially, because we have to live, we have to, sustain a certain lifestyle. But that can be a big part, because it's nothing worse than being in a relationship alone. Somebody can pay all the bills, but if they ain't there and you're in a relationship by yourself and you taking care of the kids and you have no support, like, who really want to be that? Some people accept that and some people don't. So it just depends. I think it's, you just have to have a good balance for what your relationship or what your partner needs or wants.
Yeah.
Lamont, how do you define provision?
I mean, it's definitely got to have a financial part, of course, but I mean, I think it just depends on the needs and wants of your partner. And I think sometimes when finances are necessarily not a major thing, if everybody's kind of good, then that emotional part is something that you kind of got to pick up on and learn, because it's easy to get caught up in what you got going on. And it depends on what you got going on. If it's something that's very demanding, it takes a lot of your time. Even for myself, I deal with a lot because I work a full-time job and can't run a business, so it's demanding. But also it's different for me because I was a single dad to my oldest daughter. So I mean, she's out of the house now, but I was restricted on working, a certain amount of hours and all that. So being free to kind of work a little bit has been new to me. but it's also I still got to find that right balance. So that's been something that I'm working on as far as getting that going. Because before I couldn't. If at 5 o'clock I got to be off at 5 o'clock, I got to make sure she's home, or I got to make sure I get her to school in the morning. So other opportunities making money, I didn't really make much, just enough to get by. So that becomes, you kind of, of course you do what you have to do during that time. But, when you kind of get out of that, you're like, man, I don't ever want to go back to just making ends meet, because I had to be home at this time, but I had a responsibility I had to take care of. So just finding that right balance of it is the just trying to get it to that point where you can understand of, okay, I'm doing this, but I gotta make sure I make time for this.
Okay.
So y'all mentioned, or you just mentioned, children, and it kind of segued into a video that had went viral. There was this lady that basically said she wanted a 6-figure man. She was talking on a radio show. It made me livid. Me and Leandra had a very long conversation about it. She kind of calmed me down and showed me a different perspective.
I don't take anybody too seriously.
Right,
so.
and I take everybody seriously.
So
very different people. But in it, so the guy's response was very degrading. And he basically told her she was going to die alone if she... Did he say that? Yeah, he was like, yeah, he did.
Okay.
It was like horrible. And he basically told her she was going to die alone if she was waiting on a 6-figure man, because first in this video, she also rated herself a 5.
She did rate herself.
First, he asked her to rate herself. So she rated herself a 5 on looks. But he told her that she was basically going to die alone if she was waiting for this 6-figure man to ever want her. And he mentioned the fact also because she was a mother. Like, you have kids, and it was like this negative thing. So, I don't know. Have either one of you seen that video?
Yeah, I saw the video. I think he was looking for a 6-figure man too.
No.
Okay.
That's just me.
Hey.
I feel like I've seen some of his videos, and I think some of the information that he or some of his comments or opinions and perspectives could be right. I think his delivery is horrible.
Okay.
I think his delivery can be very disrespectful, and I think there's a different way of getting your point across without really degrading somebody and telling somebody that they're going to die alone, because you don't know that. That person can find somebody that thinks she's the most beautiful woman in the world and makes a whole bunch of money, and she be good.
Right.
And also I didn't really like that that it was a video. So that video went viral everywhere, and you don't know how that can really affect a person's psyche and their emotion,
Right.
And self-esteem. But even though she did rate herself, it's still, it's still certain ways you can get your point across, and not necessarily degrade and try to uplift to a certain extent. I think he was trying to really get a point across of you're asking for something that you're not. But that doesn't mean you can't get it.
Okay.
Like, it's a bunch of people that are not on a millionaire, status, but they get millionaires.
Right.
So that just, I just didn't. I'm not a fan of his approach.
Yeah, and I think the other issue that made me so livid, because she actually did make 6 figures as a entrepreneur, so she was asking for what she was bringing to the table. But do y'all like how did y'all feel about dating women with children? Like, was that a negative thing for you, or when y'all were when you were dating? Lamont?
In the beginning for me it was
Okay.
like I said, I was 22, so I wanted to, start a family, with no outside children. But as you get to know a person, and as you realize like this situation is different, and the scales start to tip, and you started to like, you know what, it's cool. I love this person. I'm feeling this person. Then it's not so much of a big deal, um, and you just rock with it. And it takes time, honestly, too. When you're not used to that, and you grew up in a two-parent household, it takes time to adjust as well, because you hear things about the child gets older and be like, you ain't my daddy, and this and that. These are things that you try to avoid and that you don't want to deal with. But as long as you two are on a good rapport and good understanding and have conversations throughout the relationship of the things that are going on, and possibly how to, raise that child, it's going to be fine. It's just communication.
Yeah. Lamont?
Yeah, yeah, even with that video, which I watched the whole thing, I think what he was saying was, because she was asking for 6 figures, she wasn't talking about other qualities. So what he was basically saying, if you asking for just the material side, these are what material men look for. You talking about other characteristics, then that's a different story. But yeah, if you're going to talk about rich men in general or well-off men, then yeah, they're going to be, what's her skin tone, how tall, they're going to be really down to just physical if you're just talking about money. And I think that's what he was saying to her, more so, because the other stuff wasn't, is he nice, is he sweet, is he church going, is he grinding? None of those things were not a part of the conversation. It was just money.
Yeah.
So of course you're going to talk more superficial. So yes, did she meet those superficial categories? No, she did not. If you're going to talk strictly that, same thing if a woman looks a certain way and she's talking about ball players. These are going to be well in shape men, normally 6'3" and up. Millions of dollars. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much what she's going to be looking for if she's talking strictly just money. But when it comes to children, yeah, I mean, it just depends on the situation. I mean, it's case by case. I've been around women with grown kids, and you might as well say them kids were like toddlers. They still in the house, leeches. And I've seen those with, smaller children, and they're in a better financial situation. They're well behaved. So it just depends on parenting, financial situations, backgrounds.
Yeah.
All those things matter. So it's really just case by case, and more so than just putting everybody in the same category.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. You okay?
I'm good.
Okay. Just make sure I'm right.
That's a good answer.
I'm just making sure, okay,
Just
Buttercup. That Keith got up under her
skin.
skin. I'm talking about Keith. He just really got up under your skin.
He did. Yeah, let's just move on.
Let me say this. We don't know, and we got a clip of that video. Yeah. So I don't know what she said, but if you're just talking 6 figures, Lamont had a good point.
Yeah,
like, if you're just talking this wealthy man who can pretty much pick and choose, like, girl, maybe not. But if you're talking character traits,
right.
Sometimes, and let's, be honest, I know some people, you might know some people who don't look at that. It's just like, but what's that check doing? So, but yeah, his delivery was very poor. So let's get to some good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Talking about this proposals and whatnot. So when and Quick and I have heard various things. We've heard men just know. A lot of times they know before we know and whatnot. So when did you know that she was the one, and how long did it take between that and actually asking the question?
Sometimes it's a certain event that happens.
Okay.
It's almost like certain situations, like an epiphany. It's like somebody does something or says something. You look over and be like,
okay.
Oh man, this is the one right here. You're like, oh yeah, let's get with it. And then I think in most situations, guys do know who they want to marry. They know and I think in any any generation, it's certain things men want
Mm-hmm.
and know, like, oh, this is somebody that I'm trying to marry, trying to be with, I'm trying to wife up.
Okay.
Um, so I think men do know, and I don't think it takes long either.
That's what my
It
daddy
doesn't take
said.
it
We're
don't
gonna
take
work on
long.
this.
It
We're gonna
don't
work on
it
that.
don't take long. Because I think too, a lot of things that we're looking at or see, it's not money, it's not financial, so
Right.
you can throw that out. It's not necessarily education, you
Mm-hmm.
can throw that out. So we have the window is a lot smaller. We can really focus in because all these other things are eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
Versus on the other end, women might be looking at financial
Right.
support, body type, this and this and that. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of other things up there that you're trying to grasp. But for
Yeah.
men, it's like, it's like this big. You can do these amount of things, and we good. We can take it home. We can take it home.
So, what was
So
that event for you, and how long did it take you to go from knowing to ring?
I don't think it was a particular event. It's been so long. I can't remember a particular event.
Yeah.
I think it's just it goes along with a person's mindset and how they are. If they're a nice person, if and for me it was about pushing me. I react off of resistance. That's how I react. I react off of like friction.
Okay.
So for somebody to push me and call you out when you need to be called out, oh, this person is looking out for my best interest
Right.
because they only want me to be great. They
Mm-hmm.
only want me to be great. They're calling me out because they want to see me succeed. They're like, no, don't do this. No, you just did wrong for that.
Mm-hmm.
And also being a big supporter as well. So it goes with certain things like that, as far as being a supporter, people calling you out when you need to be called out. So that was for me. And
Yeah.
I think the time frame, because I just got engaged maybe 2 years ago, which was maybe year 11 or 10 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it was always a conversation we had throughout our relationship, and I always told her, like, I'm seeing all these people get married in our mid-20s, late 20s, and everybody popping up with these bubblegum rings, and I'm like, I ain't going out like that. I ain't doing that. I want to come. I'm coming correct. I'm coming hard. I'm like, you can't even see the diamond on that thing. Like, what is that?
I'm not doing this.
So that's for me. We've always had a conversation. We went ring shopping and all that other stuff throughout. And it was an understanding. Like, I'm not trying to do that. And when I do things, I try to do it the best I can and do it the right way. So if I do it one time, it's gonna be right. I don't need to 20 years later buy you a new one. That thing
Right.
gonna be big enough to last for the rest of your life.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's just me.
All right.
So yeah, and I think the question as far as the proposal, for me, I put it up on a marquee. So like when you see the plays,
Mm-hmm.
and they have like today showing,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may be. So I had a guy to record it, a photographer recorded. We walked up, she didn't see it, and I was, hey, look at that. And it was Queen J, will you marry me?
Oh,
So
that's so sweet.
Very nice.
Very creative.
Lamont, how
Um,
long did it take you to know, and then how long did it take you to actually propose?
Y'all so funny.
I kind of, I kind of knew as we were talking. Like I said, I feel like we clicked on business and personal, which is big. I usually get somebody one or the other. So too, I was more so of, well, like the proposal part. Like I'm more certain things. We did it at the botanical garden, right? I know we did it at the garden.
bro, you can't remember, bro?
Yeah, I'm just put the tea over here. But yeah, so we was there,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a lot of people there, but I did it toward the end,
Mm-hmm.
so we could be, a private moment. because she know how I am private. But but it was a nice proposal. Did in front of our children. But yeah, it was good. It was nice, and had my daughter record it. But I think for me, which is different now than back then, is more of making sure that our substance is strong. That's probably my biggest thing, more so than what others know and see. I was kind of the opposite of that younger. So just as long as we work to grow and get better, and that's like my only concern. Everything else is it is what it is. Because at the end of the day, we the ones around each other. So,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's what matters. Yeah,
that's true. I'm just laughing at that Cracker Jacks because I learned so much shopping for Quick Swing about Cracker Jacks and everything in between. So,
and just for a point of clarity, you told me within 2 weeks that you knew I was going to be your wife. I just wanted,
ma'am.
Okay.
I'm not
Hey,
ma'am.
Hey,
Don't act like you didn't know earlier. Cause my daddy said,
ma'am.
You had that red dress on. I think that's what I said.
What you said?
I think you had that red dress on when I said that.
Whatever it takes.
Well,
Lamont, I'm gonna help you.
That's what made him do it right there. That's what made him do it right there.
That was the event.
Put on your red dress.
That's what made him do it right there. He's like, oh, I see the light.
Lamont, I'm gonna get you a safe word for that. My daddy said we just gonna.
Ain't no safe word.
It's a safe word. It's a safe word. We gonna work on it, Lamont. I'm gonna help you out, bruh. So
appreciate it.
How? And just speaking to, because it seems like at least even if you didn't ask, once you knew, you all were in like more of a serious mindset, right? Mm-hmm. Once you kind of got with the person that you're with. So how, even if it was or was not, how was your approach to dating your fiance different than others, if it was different?
I can't say I had an abundance of experience or a lot of experience dating.
Okay.
I was in a relationship from, let's say, senior year to maybe her sophomore year in college. And it ended because she was cheating.
Oh, man.
So everybody else after that was, just friends with benefits. And you work your way through, and at the end of the day, you know who you need to be with. You know who you want to be with. Even though somebody be like, "Oh, you wanna?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm good. Right. I'm good. You know who you want to be. Guys know. So the approach, I didn't really have an approach. I think in certain situations I might have did certain things to figure out how a person will react. But when I got with my fiance, I never did that because I never felt the need. I never felt the need to. So for me, it was, and you see it, you like, man, this is crazy. Like you just go through the process and it just happens.
Yeah.
Lamont.
I mean, we got along in the different areas. And and again, the growth, we was, you pretty blunt, so we kind of share some things in common like that. We'll say some stuff. We're not really that sensitive about certain things. So she's one of the only ones where I can say she's harder on herself than anything else. So I can say something that don't even be that big of a deal to her because she's already big on herself about it, where other folk I'll be like, I gotta watch how I say this, and they talk junk all day, but you can't say nothing about what they got going on wrong because then they feeling. So it was different dealing with somebody whose skin's, she's definitely still sensitive, but a little tougher and still got her drive to say, I need to do this better, and I don't really have to say much about it too much. We can keep it moving.
Got you. Okay.
So we're going to get into our last question. So there's this thing called the 80-20 rule, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. So it basically says that whenever you get with a person, you're going to get 80% of the things that you desire, or you should aim for, getting 80% of the things that you desire. 20% of the things that you won't get 100% of what you desire, basically. You're going to get 80%, and do you get the 80% good and throw them away because that 20% wasn't there? Or, do you take the 80% and make that work? So with that theory or that concept, would you say that you got everything that you wanted in your partner? And if you did not, how did you determine what you were willing to compromise?
For me, I didn't get everything. It was certain things because I might have grew up traditionally that I did not like and did not want to deal with. But I think you have to really understand and weigh out, she offers this, she does this, she's able to do this, or, and the things that you don't like or the things that you possibly can't accept. You just have to weigh them out. I think, and I also think that it comes, that percentage change when you get older and your perception changes, and the things that you find that are important and it might not be as important. For me, it was like, I'm not a big tattoo person. At the time, I really was not really into that. And then as you grow, it's like your perceptions change and you just like, I don't care. Even with the children thing, it was a big thing now. It's not so much of a big thing. So certain things change over time because you grow as a person. You become a different person. You're not the same person you were 10 years ago. And then sometimes too, you realize that you actually got more than what you asked for.
Right.
Because that person is also changing too. That also person is changing with you, especially if you're in your 20s and you're growing into adulthood or becoming older. You're like, this person that, and as a person, has, in different industries, has this job, has that job, and are able to obtain different skills that you don't have, you start to get more than what you really asked for initially in the beginning. It's almost like it just gets better with time. Just depending on who you're with. So
I like it. Lamont. Lamont. I'm just playing. Go ahead.
We talked about this.
Yeah, I think it's more so of just understanding of where you really want to be. And I know, like, for me, there's a difference between being player of the year, but you winning championships. And, so when you in that single mindset, you're just trying to be, I just want to be this and that. And then you start talking about championships, you got to have the right team. So you got to have the right person who's going to tell you, hey, you need to run a little harder, you need to do those things, versus being with somebody who's just going to co-sign everything you do, and you start thinking you're great, but you really ain't great. Because we can all become a comfort zone to co-signers of your comfort zone and being complacent. And Melinda, she ain't not gonna let you be complacent. She run that mouth at times. But sometimes I need to hear that. So even when I don't want to, but I can take it from somebody who goes hard too. Now I can't have nobody talking junk and they ain't doing nothing, but that ain't gonna work. So for my 80-20, yes, I could have picked a lot of folk who would have co-signed me and got me feeling great, and I ain't really living out my potential. But to them, it looks that way. But when you're dealing with, the 80, where it's pushing, and sometimes, the 20% I'm giving up is, sometimes I do want somebody to say, hey, this is good, and it really ain't, because I don't, this depends on what kind of deal. But we all get them moments like, hey, you got that 6-pack, you got a little kid going on, but
little cheerleader.
Really ain't able to do that.
I ain't able.
She ain't able. So that's the 20% I gotta
You let it go.
Lord. So but what I'm hearing is at least the 20. It seems like most of what you wanted and all of what you needed. So I think, Quick and I have talked about, I think as women, sometimes we have this list, and some women, it could get super specific. And so I think I always say, like, is this a value or a preference, right? So again, stylistic, what might be more important to you might not be important to me, but like those values, that's what I'm hearing across the board is what's really important. Like, if you're different religions, for me that wouldn't work. For somebody else that might be a preference. Right. And I think maybe some of the difficulty sometimes is people blend preferences with values, or they cut people off because maybe they didn't meet a preference, but it's like, looking at this list, they got everything else, right? So I mean, it's just very interesting, and I think it's interesting what Lamont said really resonated in terms of like, and even Devin, like the drive, because I think for me, and I'm just speaking for me, so you can co-sign or not, but for me, like that drive is not something I can teach. That's very much like and we always full disclosure, like I grew up middle class, so there's things that I didn't have to think about or hurdles I didn't have to jump, whereas a man coming in dating me might not be there yet, right? So I'm like, I could be this offensive coordinator, but I can't be the planning out and this is what we doing, this the plan, and motivate you to run that route. Like I just can't do it. So for me, drive is like a deal breaker, whereas for some they might rah. So I mean, but
no, I totally agree with that. I would definitely say, from Lamont's perspective, like he said, when we first started dating, he's different than when we got back together on our break. But what was so attractive to me that he always had that drive. Like I never thought he would be a person that I would have to hold down. You know what I'm saying? And not in a way that I can't be supportive, right? But like I don't have to like hold him down. So, and then it was also seeing that those times when he was down, how he treated me. Like I didn't get mistreated because he had hard things going on in his life. So that that those kind of things were more important to me than height, even though he is taller than me. Oh,
praise the Lord. Oh, Lord have mercy.
That Nautica bag.
Chad has been a point of contention.
Stop bringing up the Nautica bag, Lord. I want y'all to see this felt Nautica bag. But we thank you guys for joining in, and we hope everyone has really enjoyed these series from these very, very different perspectives. And ultimately, hope you take from this that in dating potential, like make sure that the values that you have in a person are really high. And I'm not, like I said, I don't take away from people's preferences. I wanted someone that was taller than me. The same reason that other people necessarily want it, like people have, they want it taller because, they want the children to be tall. Me, we're not going to have more children, but I wanted somebody I could look up to. That was just my thing. So it was important for me. Now, you didn't have to be 6'7", but I just wanted somebody that, looked up to me. So I don't think you necessarily have to give up your preferences, but I do think when those preferences outweigh the values of what's going to take
the person in front of you,
and character, then you need to kind of reevaluate some things. So we brought people on that, especially men, talking from their perspectives of what they actually look for in women. We love our degrees, but that's not what's attracting these men. Okay, so
but the consensus says they don't care.
They don't care. They want drive. They want someone that supports them.
Yes.
Okay?
Be nicer.
Right. Right.
So you all can, and actually I didn't ask you all, did you all want to provide your social media if anyone wants to follow you, or business opportunities since you're entrepreneurs?
Mine is Next Level Fitness PT on Instagram, and it's also Next Level Fitness PT on Facebook as well.
Got you.
Thank you.
Lamont?
Just on Facebook, LS Maintenance Management. Follow me on that.
All right, and we'll have that information in our episode notes. And again, thank you guys. Thank you all for tuning in. You all can follow us. We are on Facebook and Instagram, Divas and Ducats. Our website is www.divasandducats.com. Obviously, we're on YouTube if you're watching. So share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. In the meantime, in between time,
have a great attitude.
All right, bye.